think they need to learn attitudes, so life skills such as optimism, resilience, grit, coming up with ideas, being able to defend ideas, marketing them. So those are skills which you could use irrespective of what you decide to do with your life. Second, we have social problems on a scale that we haven't seen before. And it goes back to clean air, clean water, inequity. So we need people to think these problems through and come up with solutions which have the potential to create a large-scale impact. So again, I think we need this. And third is really to create jobs and wealth. If you look at what's happening in India right now with demonetization, the idea is to bring in money from the informal sector to the formal sector. But even then, I don't think we have enough money to go around. So really need to create jobs and wealth at a scale which no country has achieved before.
Having been an entrepreneur and done a lot of things wrong, I've been through failures as well. I've been in manufacturing, I've done all kinds of things. That's why I wanted to understand, what is it that you learn? Like if you want to become a scientist, from 5th grade onwards, they teach you all kinds of things, and then that prepares you for a career as a doctor or a scientist or whatever. If you want to do IT, right, there's a lot of stuff you learn in math and science, and some of you will also learn some coding on the side, or, but there's nothing if you want to be an entrepreneur. That's why I decided as my second life, after having been through 5 ventures, I decided what I really want to do is to teach this, because the inspiration from Jamshedji Tata was still there. That entrepreneurship is a way to create a better world, right? To create a better future.
We've realized that students in Bangalore and across the globe don't have a voice, and even when they express themselves, his voice is not heard. So we're putting together a platform where students can express themselves, and we link these students' voices to experts who can help them put their solutions into the real world.
Why should someone be a change maker? Because I think we owe it to ourselves to live happy, content, productive lives. And we also owe it to ourselves to think that education goes beyond just earning money. It's got to be beyond going to college, getting a job. It's got to be how you can create a positive impact through your thoughts, through your words, through your actions. And I believe that effectuation can do that.
We have 3 objectives. One of them is teaching life skills to children, which very well ties in with Inventure's core purpose. But we've taken an and approach rather than or approach. So the next one that we want to do is make sure that they make impact to society, right? So this idea that Inventure trains students to be citizens, I think that is also kind of inbuilt into it. And I think the third one is help them actually materially gain, right? You participate in a project like this, it's good for your academic resume, it's good to write an essay about. So there are concrete gains for the student as well as for the school when you do something like this. But it's almost in that order. Life skills, social impact, and gain both for the individual and the school.
So ma'am, how do you differentiate between negativity and critical advice?
Good. Oh my God, that. Let me tell you, I've been talking, I think, for 20 years and nobody has asked this question. Awesome question.
It's important to have a voice because, well, we're going to be going into the real world now after school, and we need to know how things work. We need to be able to know that your opinion matters, and that your opinions will actually shape the future.
So we have 3 pilots. Our first is to improve the STP in Inventure and to increase water recycling at Inventure. The second is to launch the prototype of our lake monitoring system to 5 other schools. And I want to create an art installation in and around Varthur Lake.
We were working on a portal for students to ask doubts in math, and we plan to expand to more subjects. So it's a forum for students, if they have doubts in class or anywhere else, to post their doubts and get them answered.
The reason we want to do this for only students is because I also may have picked up a few tricks or techniques on the way of coming up to 12th grade. So I can pass that over to the lower grades and help them get interested in the subject, or help them get better marks.
To follow up on the previous question, we started talking about learned optimism, right?
Yeah.
So then, as the difference between criticism and negativity, what's the difference between learned optimism and overconfidence?
That's a good question as well.
I learned how tough it is to start a business. I learned that you need a lot of money to start a business. I learned that nachos won't help when you're starting a business. I learned that one of the toughest parts of starting a venture like this would be like connecting with people and convincing them to use your product, because if you reach out to someone, they would be like, why would I use you? There are 1,000 other platforms out there. Why you? So you have to be able to convince, you have to be able to pitch strongly and like basically fight for your belief.
Our objective is to provide underprivileged children with access to technology, and the goal is to provide these children with a higher quality of education, giving them more opportunities in life.
Initially, when we were planning this project, we needed laptops. So to start off with, we needed 6 laptops, but the thing was, the school asked us to go out and talk to people and see if they were willing to give laptops. So what we decided was, so through contacts and other contacts we knew, we contacted companies and NGOs and CSR heads asking if they're willing to fund our project. And I realized that it's not an easy project because sometimes people don't take you seriously because they think you're a kid. But we actually managed to get a few laptops, and I think that was like a great thing.
We all have this latent idealism in ourselves, and we've kind of let it be, right? We've kind of let a lot of other things cover. When you work with kids, they awaken that, right? And so I guess the responsibility of adults is to not kill that idealism in them. In some sense, that's what we owe to ourselves, basically, and to them.
We conducted a survey on the students who use private vehicles when coming to school. And what it revealed was that many students prefer comfort a lot. Some of the students have also started carpooling. We also made a visit to the Bangalore Traffic Police Center, and the kind of technology they're using over there is incredible, in fact. It's almost an equivalent of the Artemis we're using in Japan.
I think just interacting with people, like talking to people who are much older than you and more experienced in the field, and getting to know their opinions and sharing your opinions. And I think it's really satisfying. You feel like accomplished when people like listen to your ideas and they're like, oh, this is actually a really great idea for someone your age.
Our approach is to create compelling content on our platform. And we want to make it really interactive, so students can debate about their ideas on like different issues. And our success matrix are the number of likes, shares, and etc. depending on the type of content, like videos or articles or such. And also our number of active users and the number of initiatives or ideas that are taken up and discussed in detail to a significant degree.
So one of the message that resonates well with the kids is when you talk to them, how do you do things smartly? They're very receptive. How can you put the minimum effort and get the maximum results? That's a message that they're very open to listening. So anything that can be done better, smarter, new tools, new ways of doing it, they're all ears.
They show us the immense possibility that is there, and that if we can just ignite that fire in each one of these kids, and then in turn they can show us. Because see, as a coach of the Changemaker program, one of the things that I have learned from the kids is that yes, change is possible, and it starts with each and every one of us. It starts with all of us taking responsibility for our little bit, and then sort of passing that. It's literally passing the torch on. And so if each and every one of us kind of just does that, we've got the change.
Children should have a voice in the matters that we have inherited, like the future, because we have inherited a future from our previous generation that we lack a voice in it. And I've also, in technical terms, I've learned a lot about entrepreneurships and how to take decisions in life.
The other thing which we want to achieve with this program is for children to have a say in the future that they're inheriting. And in many ways, it's our collective future. Now, the way the children look at it is when they, the conversations on the dinner tables, on television, it's all the same thing. It's about how we don't have power, we don't have clean air, we don't have clean water, traffic's a mess, there's inequality in terms of distribution of wealth, power. Yes, we know all of this, but at the same time, things have gotten a lot better. If you compare life today compared to, say, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, we're doing a whole lot better than humanity has ever done, right? But every generation has a problem. And I think it's important that students identify what the problems are, and rather than sitting back and passively accepting it, they need to engage in conversation with parents. I've heard kids here say, hey, my parent paid a bribe to get a driver's license. We don't think that's okay. Well, you know what? Don't come and just tell us that it's not okay. Tell your parents that it's not okay. Tell people who are selling their votes it's not okay to sell their votes. Tell parents that it's not okay to send us in school in our private car because it's more convenient. Send us by public transport instead. Send us by the school bus. So those are the kind of things which children can do very easily in conversation with other children and conversation with their family and with their friends.
I want to do something groundbreaking with this and actually change the world and make an impact.